Alright, we are back. I want to say this right now. It's been a good weekend for sports. For those who don't know, we saw Friday night fights on ESPN. That was really good for boxing. We saw on Saturday, we saw Saki Obika versus, Adonis Stevenson, which Adonis Stevenson pretty much blew him out the water, especially with that left hand. He was countering on it all day. And also, I have to say this now, Glory. That's right, Glory kickboxing on Friday night was really good. Now, but I do want to talk about this. There's some negative news today. But there's also positive news to counterbalance it, okay, in this video. But I gotta say this first. I gotta start with this. Over the weekend, Shawn Brace. I gotta start over the weekend. How you get let go from your job at 97.5? You have to be so, and I'll play this. For people to understand, if you get fired from 97.5, you had to do something really wrong to get fired from that place, or you have to be one of the most untalented, non-sports knowledgeable type of person, and this is what happens, because for those who don't know, Shawn Brace loves to do what Skip Bayless does, okay? Likes to speak a lot of, outlandish things in order for people to, to get all rowdy, all huffy and puffy about. But you have to understand that the reason it works for Skip Bayless is because he's on a national network, okay? Even though we know Skip Bayless is garbage, all right? That's why he gets away with it. That's why he can get away with it, all right? His trolling, not at a local radio station. It doesn't work that way. So as far as I'm concerned, I find it really funny that someone would get, I'm sorry, I just find it funny. I do. That you're a grown man and all you have to do is talk about sports for an hour to, say, 3 hours, depending on your block, the way they have you set up. That's all you have to do. It's the easiest job in the world to sit on your ass and talk about sports. That's what you gotta do. And you can't even do that. You got fired from that, huh? I'm sorry. All right. Let's just go on and let's just talk about sports, okay? As far as I'm concerned, that was really funny, but there's something that's not really funny. And let's talk about English Premier League. That's right, let's just talk about Barclays. Let's get into it, all right? For those who don't know, over the weekend, it has become such a tight race when it comes to, football overseas. And you know what? We've seen Arsenal. What did I say last week? I said I would like to see Chelsea and Arsenal in the top 2 spots. What's going on? Arsenal and Chelsea in the top 2 spots right now. You got Manchester United, they're moving up, okay? You got Manchester City, it's moving down, and you actually have Liverpool who has a chance to move up, and don't count out Southampton just yet. You know what? Matter of fact, let's look at the top half of the standings. So as Chelsea is going into this game versus Stoke City, what did I say on Twitter? I said, do not take Stoke City lightly, because Stoke City, they beat Arsenal earlier this season, okay? So you have to, give them that respect. Every game from here on out, you have to take seriously. None of these games you can sit here and either, have draws. You can't drop points at this point. You have to be dominant, Chelsea. And what did you do? You went out there and you started playing good, and you had time of possession good, and then you let Charlie Adam do this 65 yards out. This is what you let him do.
Lost away at Aston Villa, who are struggling. Lost away at Palace. Lost at home shockingly here to Sunderland, part of the Black Caps' great escape. Hazard's down, clutching the lower portion. Oh, it's a shot from distance. It's gone in. Absolutely remarkable. Charlie Adam, a sensational goal to level things at Stamford Bridge. He spots Courtois off his line. He can't believe it, the Belgian.
Well, set your recorders, put it on tape, and record this for goal of the season, because this is what it is. They win the ball back at the other end of the pitch. Charlie Adam, there he is in the middle of the park, just gets the ball. He's already had a look. Already, he knows what he's doing. And that, my friend, is genius.
What a goal by Charlie Adam. He's a good 10 yards inside his own half. We talked about his left foot earlier on.
Just
what
incredible.
A goal.
So understand, people, that happened on Saturday. It's been 3 days. It's Monday. 3 days later, I'm still salty over it. You have to be kidding me, Chelsea, that you're going to let that go. And the goalkeeper's just like, what do you mean? What's that? You've got to be kidding. No, there's no way in hell you should be letting that happen. And you know what? I'm getting real tired of flopping. Because if you saw what Hazard, that's not, to a point where you need to fall down and lay on the ground that time. No. All right, it's this simple. We've seen way too much flopping when it comes to Chelsea as of late, especially I'm going to talk about, especially with Drogba, okay? Drogba needs to be sit on the bench for the rest of his life or get rid of him. As far as I'm concerned, you let, Remy? You let him, because mind you, last week, Remy made the game winner. Then Remy comes in again and scores again before you take him out. Look, I put it like this. Let this guy have more playing time as far as I'm concerned. There is no way in hell you can sit there and do that for Remy, especially when he's the one putting up points at this. Like, him and Hazard are the only ones really putting up points, because Costa, let me talk about this right now. Costa, okay? Costa, over the week, had this like rigorous training. He was in shape. He was getting fit. He felt great because, as you know, this whole hamstring problem with him is going to become a problem later in this series, right? So he trained. He worked hard. So they finally bring him in after that because that was the end of the first half when you saw that goal. Okay, Chelsea got the message. Activate Costa. They bring him in. He is in for all of what? 10, 15 minutes. He's not running hard. He's not doing anything. He's just walking around. All of a sudden, he's hurt. He grabs his hamstring. Come get me. I'm going to lay on the ground. No, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You didn't, for a person who supposedly trained all week, you will tell me you didn't run hard and all of a sudden your hamstring hurts? That's bullshit. All right? And I put it like this. Costa is a great player as far as I'm concerned. He scores a lot of goals. But that is ridiculous. And as far as I'm concerned, you sit him down as well for a couple games and then let him come back healthy if it's really that huge of a problem. As far as I'm concerned, that for what he showed as opposed to his injury, no. You can't sit here and tell me you had some rigorous training throughout the week where you were running and everything, and then when you got there on the pitch, you do that. No way. No way. But let's get something straight here, okay? That's not the only thing that happened with Chelsea, when these long goals, because guess what? It almost happened again, but this time to the other team.
Creating a nervy environment at Stamford Bridge after that Charlie Adams special.
Other than Tim Howard over the weekend, is any goalkeeper paying attention? You've got to be kidding. Look, you saw one over in the first half, that long goal. Then you almost saw another one. And goalkeepers are just like, yeah. Like, no, it's unacceptable. It is. I'll put it like this. Chelsea barely escaped Stoke City. That's how I see it. They got their points. They got the hell out of there. That's what happened. All right? And for anyone who says, oh, it was a dominant fashion, no, in no way was it a dominant fashion, all right? There was a lot of pressure in the second half by Chelsea. They adjusted, but they didn't score. They had a couple chances, but they didn't put the ball in the net. So you can't sit here and say that. They barely escaped, especially near the end when Stoke City had a chance, and then, in extra time, and then they didn't go nowhere. So understand, and Drogba, once again, what did he do? He took the yellow card at the end to waste time. That's what he did. So as far as I'm concerned, this is just, no. Look. I put it like this, Chelsea, you have to play with more heart. There is no way that you can do this, and every game is going to give me a heart attack from here on out, because we got QPR coming up, which had a good game over the weekend, all right? You got Manchester United, and then you got Arsenal, which is a big rivalry. So as far as I'm concerned, you have to win out every game. I know a lot of people are saying that, look, they have enough points to, to survive this. They can get through it. But you know what? I'm not trying to hear that. Win out. You have to show dominance. If you are in the top spot, act like you want to be in the top spot. Show some damn heart. That's what it is. And speaking of showing heart, I still want to talk about more football overseas, okay? Because for those who don't know, I want to talk about these kids for a minute, because this is what it means to have heart. For those who don't know what I'm talking about. Parents racially abused Black AC Milan kids during under 10 match. So kids under 10 years old are being racially abused by parents. That's right. Now look, I put it like this. I told you this before. When I was playing hockey when I was a kid, I had to deal with that as well. It was never from the players. No, it never really is from the players. All right? It's from the parents. And that's sad. These are kids that are under 10 years old. It takes a lot of heart, all right, to go out there in a crowd like that with those parents calling you a bunch of names just so you want to play a sport. Kids under 10 years old. It's ridiculous. And as far as I'm concerned, it's not only just unnecessary, it's just those type of parents, all right, those type of parents you're seeing, more than likely they're living throughout their kids, you know what I mean, and want them to do better. But that's going way too far. I'm going to talk about more of that later, okay? But the fact that things that, it's going too far, I want to talk about more of that, about going too far. For those who don't know, University of Kentucky. Let's talk about this. We know over the weekend that salt came in hard when it came for Kentucky because Wisconsin beat Kentucky. We saw the players get so upset that they walked off the court without even shaking hands. Poor sportsmanship. Now look, Kentucky, you had a great season. It was an undefeated season before you decided to act a fool. That's right, the fans were mad. They were crying in the stands. We saw that, okay? But Kentucky players, no. They just didn't get mad at the fact that they lost, all right, and walked off. Then they had to go into the press conference, which made it even worse. Listen to what's being said in the press conference.
George Schroeder, USA Today. This is for Carl. I wonder if you could talk about Kaminsky and what makes him so difficult to defend, and what, if anything, is unique about defending him.
And of course, when that was said, Twitter exploded. People went nuts. They're saying, oh, I can't believe he said that on camera. Now look, for what we heard, this kid didn't know that the mic was on, even though you should know that the mic was on. It's a press conference. All these people are around. I don't know how you don't know the mic is on, okay? Don't know. But you can't sit here and say that type of stuff. I understand it's a young kid. He's mad. If he just, it slipped. No, he's angry. I get it. Now, granted, and people are saying, well, if Kaminsky had said something like that, you'd be all over the guy. I understand that too. But here's the thing. While people are still playing this race car thing and who can say what, you have to understand that this is taking, for some reason, the big spotlight as opposed to Kentucky fans rioting in the streets. That's right. How do you not, media, because I put it like this, this is what you focused on, media, this is what you focused on, but yet you're not focusing on what the hell happened after the game? In no way in hell does a player's comments overshadow mass rioting. No way. There's no way. I'll put it like this. The media really dropped the ball on this one, all right? Because that's what really should have been reported. That's what should have been put in the spotlight. And, of course, when these people are rioting, you know what they said? Oh, they're just some kids out there just drinking, and just trying to have a good time. So when this happened in Ferguson, and when you call them a bunch of thugs and everything for okay, all right. I really do hate the way the media, portrays themselves at times. I really do. I mean, seriously, call it what it is, all right? If you're going to call one group of people who are rioting, whatever the cause may be, all right, a bunch of thugs or whatever, a bunch of, unruly, individuals, then guess what? It's over sports. That's, which is nowhere even close to fighting for social equality, but it's over sports, all right? And they're acting that way. I'm not trying to hear you shouldn't call them the same thing. I'm not trying to hear that. In no way, shape, or form. No. All right? That's simple. But the media, of course, they're just going to just laying back on that. ESPN falling back on that. Everyone's falling back on that. Oh, they're just mad. Ha ha. Well, guess what? Isn't that how riots start? People get to a point where they just get mad and then they start going off. Isn't that how every riot is? I'm just saying. It makes no sense. And that car looked like it took a hard flop. You know what? Speaking of hard flops, Kemba Walker. That's right. We're going to talk about Kemba Walker. Griffin Force flop of the week. That's right. Now, look, we all know that Kemba Walker had a history of flopping when he was in college. But this takes the cake as far as I'm concerned when it comes to his flops.
Under a minute now to play.
Yo, he slid like 10 yards off of that. That's a first down off that little touch. You gotta be kidding me. First, that's ridiculous. It hurts the game, and it's childish. You know what? Speaking of ridiculous and childishness, all right, let's talk about this right now for those who don't know, okay? Coach pulls gun and opens fire during youth basketball game in Southwest Philadelphia. That's right, I gotta talk about this. People, understand this, all right? A coach who was apparently being heckled in the stands, and people are laughing at him, pulls out a gun and fires at the other coach. Mind you, the other coach is like 45 years old, okay? Pulls out a gun and fires at another coach during these kids playing basketball, all right? Their families are scrambling to get out of the door. The kids are running to get out of the gymnasium. This guy decides, after he fires his gun, he's going to try and run away and get in his car. Hey, stupid. They know who you are. You're the coach of the basketball team. They know they're going to catch you. You understand that, right? The fact that this guy actually pulled out a gun and fired at another coach at a kid's basketball game, but yet the mayor wants to sit here and say it's the youth that's causing all the problems. Really? You still want to go with that, Mayor Nutter? You still want to? Come on, man. You've got to be kidding me. But you know what? Speaking about the youth and basketball, and I told you before, we talked about this before. Remember how I did? Damn, I don't know what that is. But remember where, where I said that the cops versus community thing could happen, and I was pushing for it. Remember the video I did where I actually went to the police officers, and I talked to them because they were watching the basketball game, and I was like, when are we going to get you out there on the court? And they was like, no, we're not going to get you out in the court. Well, check this out. Out in Philadelphia, 2 police officers decide to take on basketball players in street ball.
Oh, shit.
Come on.
Do you see how much fun they're having? That's what I'm talking. Police officers are smiling. This is why I said cops versus community could have happened a long time ago before that idiot decided to ruin everything and punch that woman at the Puerto Rican Day Parade, okay? And that's what stopped everything. But understand, when these police officers are playing with people in the community, they're getting to know people in the community. So whenever they decide to make, do their little checks and drive-thrus and everything, they're not going to say, well, that person, we don't know that person, you know what I mean? Let's go, go hem them up and stop and frisk and all that. You don't have to worry about that. If anything, they'll just ask how you're doing because you're starting to know each other. And every time the mayor keeps saying, well, we're trying to find a way to get the cops and, a better relationship between the cops and the community. Example! I've been giving you this example for fucking years. Have I not? And yet, it kept going under the radar. Now we're seeing this is an example of how it works. But yet, some people still want to tell me, you don't know what you're talking about, man. You don't know what you're talking about. Clearly, it can work. But like I said, the people who are in charge, the people who can put this together, keep ignoring me. They kept ignoring me that entire time. The commissioner I tried to talk to him about ignored me. Remember, he wanted to know all the questions and everything before the interview happened. Remember, like I said, you can ask people on Twitter who was there when I was recording for it. On the street, okay? There were people, like the cops I was trying to talk to, wouldn't even talk to me. So it goes to show you this is what it comes to. Remember, I showed you other players who were saying, this is what we need to do in the community. Other basketball players. Remember I did those interviews? Like I said, I've been on this for so long. And now to see something like this, all it does is give me more leverage. Seriously, if the mayor is serious about, connecting this together, you have to put more into sports. It drives people together. As we saw earlier in the video, okay, it makes people go crazy and throws things, into a tizzy and then it goes, falls apart. This is actually showing you how it can bring people together. So if you want to stop all this type of violence and all this, this aura of just negative vibes between the police officers and people in low-income areas, this is the start. This is the baby steps you can take. But yet, you don't want to do that. Nope. Let me move on. I want to talk about the Flyers. Now, for those who don't know, the Flyer season is over. Once again, fire Berube, people, because anyone who saw the relationship between him and Mason, there's no relationship at this point. For those who don't know what happened, earlier this year, Mason was hurt, and when he was trying to come back, Berube threw his ass back out there. When Zepp was playing, Zepp gave up 2 goals to one game, and he's like, all right, Mason, get out there. And Mason's like, I'm still not healthy. What are you doing? And because he put Mason out there, the goalie coach, the goaltenders coach, he quit. He quit. That's right. So Berube, I'll put it like this, he needs to be fired. He does. However, I will say since this season is over, I am happy that the Flyers beat the Penguins on Wednesday. And, Pens fans came out and said, oh, well, the Flyers only won on Wednesday due to the fact that, that we didn't have Malkin playing. Now, let's get something straight here, all right? If you look at the Flyers record, and I've done this earlier this season, the Flyers record, when they beat the Pens in their own home, we own that place, okay? So it doesn't matter if Malkin played or not. But yesterday, Malkin played, Crosby played, everybody played for the Penguins, and what happened? You still lost. So what did you learn, Pens fans? All right. Like I said, the only reason I'm happy about that is because they beat the Penguins. Now, the Penguins got to fight to get into the playoffs. We did our job, okay? They still, Ottawa's making a push, so we will see what happens. Now, since we are on this pretty much off-season, because we only have a couple games left, we're not going anywhere. Like I said, we're out of playoffs. We're done. Our season's over. It is time that Berube goes. He's had enough time with this team to make it good, and he still has not gotten the job done, as far as I'm concerned. Speaking of not getting the job done, today, as we know, is opening day for the MLB. Everybody has a clean slate, but as we know, the Phillies are not going to do anything this season. I would be shocked if they won the NL. If they win the NL, I'll eat my hat. How about that? All right, because I'll go like this. You can't expect the Phillies to do anything with that roster. You're going to have guys who want to prove themselves, and granted, it's going to probably look good early, but we're talking about a full season here. If you think these guys are going to have it in the tank to go the entire time like that, no. There are way too many guys. I do not see this pitching staff. I don't see this hitting staff really doing anything. As we know, they already talked about moving Chase Utley if there's if there's something there. Cole Hamels may be moved if there's something there. Of course, he's our opening day starter today, so we'll see what happens with that. I'll try to watch as much of the game as possible due to the fact that I have boxing tonight. So we'll see what happens. Phillies fans, seriously, I put like this. For those also don't know, Citizens Bank Park has now put in metal detectors. It almost looks like the damn airport, the way the metal detectors are. And they're putting in new food options. They're putting in hard liquor now for the Phillies fans. You know what? They're going to need it. For this season, they're going to need it. Because as far as I'm concerned, look, I don't have a problem with people taking in the game. That's what you should do. Take in the game, have fun with your friends and your family. You want to take your kids to the game? By all means, go ahead. Don't expect the Phillies to make any push. Don't expect it. I know I'm trying, I'm sounding negative right now, but come on. Look at our setup. We've been talking about this for so long. No, the Phillies are not going to do anything this year. We don't even know the stats of what's going to happen with Cliff Lee. They had to shut him down. His career is pretty much over, over. If he's had Tommy John surgery, they're just going to keep prolonging and prolonging. And you know what? Just let him have a surgery. Let him do what he got to do. He's done. And then you know what? If you go back and you look at when we had that roster, you know what I mean? When Ruben Amaro, we had Oswald, Hamels, Holiday, Lee, Blanton. I don't know how you don't, at least win one World Series with that. But that's what happens when you push those players. Oh, we're going to try to get the most wins in the in regular season instead of resting your players so that you can make a strong push in the playoffs. And we got bounced by the Cardinals. And the Cardinals actually it wasn't just we just got tired. No, remember that pitching duel between Holiday, it was just really great. It really was great to see. So you can't take it away from them. But I don't know. I don't see the Phillies doing much. The Flyers season is over. As we know, the Sixers, they've been done. All right. The Eagles, Eagles fans are still upset. We'll see what happens during the draft. What we got? Philadelphia Soul? The Union's not doing anything. They just lost. People have to understand the frustration with Philadelphia. It's not just one team. It's every team. They're just losing all across the board, man. So, yeah, I understand opening day. Be positive until, see what the Phillies can do. But if you look at this roster and you look at the long run, I don't see the Phillies doing anything. I just don't. That's my opinion, of course, Anyways, I'm done for the day, or should I say the week with sports, unless something big happens, in more sports. Granted, we have we have the finals tonight, we have Wisconsin and Duke, so we'll see what happens. I really think that Duke is going to take this due to the fact that their big guys are he's just way too big. All right, and they don't really have anyone in Wisconsin that can guard him, to be quite honest, especially in the paint. So we'll see what happens. Maybe Wisconsin can make a run. I'm telling you this, their outside shooting better be on tonight, because if not, they're in trouble. Anyways, I'm done. I'll talk to you later. Y'all be safe. I'm out.